In the aftermath of the July 4th flood in Kerrville, a first-person account from Texas Monthly senior editor Aaron Parsley captured the horror, the tragedy, and the heroism of his family when the Guadalupe River swept their home away.
His gripping piece on the cover of the current issue has been read by tens of thousands. But until now, Parsley has not spoken publicly about what happened or his decision to chronicle it for the world. Now, he did sit down with senior reporter Tony Bolhetsky, and Tony, I know accounting what he went through was just heartbreaking to hear.
Mark and Quita, it absolutely was. I've gotten to know Aaron Parsley over the past 7 weeks since the flood. He agreed to this conversation not only to discuss his piece, but also about how his family is honoring his 2-year-old nephew lost to the floodwaters. Aaron Parsley has spent his life sharing the stories of others.
Hi, Aaron.
Hi, yeah, thanks for coming by.
Yeah.
I did want to ask you about a story idea.
But in the awful early morning hours of July 4th, when floodwaters struck the Texas Hill Country, his experience became one.
This story kind of had it all. It was heartbreaking, it was harrowing, it was heroic, it was hard to believe, and it was heartwarming.
Parsley, a senior editor at Texas Monthly, was one of 7 family members in their home along the Guadalupe in Kerr County when floodwaters lifted the home from its pillars and plunged it into the raging floodwaters.
I feel like I wrote this story powered by adrenaline.
As a journalist and storyteller, he knew in the early hours after what happened that he wanted to share it.
I did just want to say what had happened, and this was a way of giving my testimony, saying what I saw, what my family saw, what we heard, what it felt like, and just like what we remember about those hours that we spent sort of struggling to survive.
Over the next 6 days, often in the middle of the night, Parsley wrote what became a 4,500-word, deeply personal, first-person essay about the flood and the loss of his 2-year-old nephew, Clay, who was swept away.
So much of what happened, I could still like hear it and feel it and smell it. So I think it was helpful that it was so fresh in my mind to get some of those details out.
Parsley writes in detail about the moments his family's home was washed away with his father, husband, sister and brother-in-law, and niece and nephew inside.
The rushing, still rising water had lifted the house off its pillars. It was afloat, and then it wasn't. I saw part of the deck rip away. I heard windows break from every corner. Cracks split the walls. We crashed into something, probably a tree. I don't know how long it took, 10 seconds, maybe 15, for the house to come apart.
He shares gut-wrenching moments when the family realizes his nephew is gone.
It's Alyssa, my sister screamed. I'm with Rosemary. Clay is gone. The memory of those words will never leave me. A combination of profound relief and unbearable sadness overwhelms me now, even as I type this. Alyssa and I kept yelling to each other, though neither of us could clearly make out what the other was saying. Be strong for Rosemary, I implored. You have to survive this. Intermittently, I could hear just one word, Clay, as Alyssa cried out for her son.
He concludes the piece with a letter to his niece about the hours before the tragedy.
Rosemary, I want you to know that we had so much fun the day before the flood. We swam in the river until you wanted to jump from the rope swing. That came as no surprise because ever since you took your first steps on your first birthday, you've been a fearless, observant, determined little girl.
The essay touched millions and generated an unprecedented social media reaction for the magazine.
Like the flood, it was unexpected and overwhelming. And I felt like I was kind of swept up in a current of emotion, but it was good emotion. I felt a lot of gratitude, and I felt comforted.
In the weeks since, he says his family is grieving and trying to push forward. Parsley says he is thankful to be alive, and as a journalist and writer, thankful his words about that terrible day touched so many.
I'm just glad and grateful that I've had the chance to tell this story, especially here at Texas Monthly.
Parsley and his family have set up a fund in Clay's name through the Austin Community Foundation. Their hope is to use the money one day to support causes they say reflected his life, one they say that was filled, Mark and Quita, with love and happiness.
Wow, just so tough to hear those words even.
Absolutely.
And then
can't
even as a
even
journalist,
imagine.
when we're so used to covering stories, but to be part of it.
Yeah.
And then
It
have the
came
strength
right to
to,
them.
yes, right. Incredible.
Thank you so much, Tony.
Absolutely.